Yo, what's good with y'all, man? So I have a lot of books on like backlog, and I need to start doing some book reviews because I said I would. So I want to do another one today. Another one. I'm gonna do Lord of the Flies. I just finished this book like 2 weeks ago. Um, Also just a little background about what I try to do with my reading schedule at least. So I try to read two books at the same time, right? So I try to read one like academic slash scholarly book, and then I try to read one like for fun book, a book that I don't have to, take notes on or really like pay attention and be aware all the time like of exactly what I'm reading and always be thinking. It's just kind of like I could just enjoy the book for what it is. So that's why I try to do that, and it also allows me to um get more books done in a shorter amount of time. um I read a book called Deep Work a while ago, and it talked about how the human brain is really, you have a limited amount of energy, but you can do a lot more than you think you can by tricking your brain. And not even really tricking your brain, like your brain likes to do different things. So if you, as opposed to trying to read like 50 pages of one book, you could read 25 pages of one book and then 25 pages of another book, and that will most of the time allow you to be more consistent. Because a lot of times if you read like 50, 60 pages in one day, you're not going to want to read that book again the next day. You probably going to take a day off, things like that. Anyway, that's my personal reading schedule. I would highly recommend it that you try to read two books at the same time, one that's just for fun and another that is actually, going to be helpful and elucidating in whatever it is that you're trying to do in life. But anyway, this was my last for fun book that I read, Lord of the Flies. And it's not going to be too long. I just wanted to talk about a couple of the themes that I saw in the book that kind of resonated with me. And I'm trying not to spoil it. I'm going to try not to spoil it, but just in case, spoilers alert. So the first theme that I liked was the theme of imaginary fear. So the title of the book, that's where the Lord of the Flies comes from. So in the book, basically there are these kids who get not shipwrecked, their plane crashes and they end up on this island, and they're stranded there. So it's like this tribe of like 11 to like 5-year-old boys who are all on their own, and they had to learn how to survive. But they end up, so the smaller kids within that tribe, they see something in the forest, and later in the book it turns out it's just like it's nothing, but they see a beast, allegedly. I'm not gonna tell you what the beast was because it's like I'm trying not to spoil it, but there's like a beast, they call it the beast, and that inspires like a sense of fear and doubt and uncertainty within all of them. So they're constantly like on edge. They're constantly talking and thinking about, this imaginary monster instead of focusing on what they need to do. Like in Star Wars, I forget exactly what Yoda said, but fear is basically like a path to the dark side. So, and especially like imaginary fear, and especially I guess with me having a lot of experience with imaginary fear, like a lot of the things that you're scared of, that you're worried about, and that you're anxious about, they're probably not gonna happen. Like, and I really experience, and then if you do meditate and marinate on it, it's way more likely to happen. But even then, it still probably is not gonna happen. So like, why are you so concerned about some imaginary fear? And I know that's much easier said than done. But so like, for example, bro, if you're scared that your girl is gonna cheat and you're fearful, you're probably gonna be very stiff, and you're gonna start doing things that are gonna like push her away, and then basically that can make your fear come true. So don't live in fear. Our Father didn't give us the spirit of fear. God didn't give us the spirit of fear. Don't live in fear, bro. If there was a beast, bro, like if it comes up, we gonna kill it. If it doesn't, then we cool. That's what should have been said, but they didn't. And like going back to like, the girlfriend, like, okay, like, bro, if she cheat, then what's done in the dark will come to light. I'll find out, then I'll make a decision from there. If you don't, cool. But don't live in imaginary fear. That is not, don't live in fear at all. But especially like an imaginary fear, like a non-tangible fear, like a thought in your head or what somebody else told you. That's a no-go. Don't do that. The second theme that I noticed was envy slash jealousy. And that's manifested through the characters of Ralph and Jack, who are like the two main characters. They're like the two protagonists. They're like the two leaders. They're the oldest. They're the most talented. They have, the most sway and pull within the tribe of boys. So Ralph is like, the good leader. Everybody voted him as chief. He's the one who set up all these mechanisms and schedules and plans for what they needed to do. He had this plan to set up a signal fire and keep it going all day so that they would constantly be having a smoke signal that could, potentially help them get rescued. He had designated certain people to have certain roles based on what they were good at. Like, he was a good leader. So then you have Jack. So Jack was a hunter, and Jack had like his own little band of like minions. But Jack was very emotional. He was very hot-headed. He was very mean and disrespectful. And you could tell early in the book when they had voted Ralph chief that he was like he was angry. He was not going for it. So eventually he starts doing little things to try to like get under Ralph's skin. Eventually it leads on to a full-on mutiny and rebellion. They separate, and long story short, I guess it's just kind of spoiler, but like Jack tries to kill Ralph, and it's all out of jealousy because Ralph is everything that Jack wants to be. He can't understand why people, respond better to love rather than fear, respond better to respect rather than fear. So that was a great theme that was kind of portrayed in that book that I really liked. Don't be envy and jealous of people. We all have certain gifts and talents, and we came here to serve anyway. So if you're in a excuse me, if you're in a position of servitude, then that's cool. We all have to serve somebody. We serve our parents. I'm sure you've all worked a job before. You play sports. You got a coach, right? You have to listen to your coach. You're gonna lose. A lot of people don't understand that theme, and they get jealous and envious of people. And like I said, jealousy, envy, that leads to hate. Fear leads to all of these things, like like fear, envy, jealousy. It makes me think of Star Wars and about how Yoda talks about how like these negative emotions lead to the dark side. And that's exactly what happened with Jack. He was fearful, he was jealous, envious, and that led him to, becoming a monster. But I'm not going to talk about that part. Probably like the most, I'm not going to say the most important theme, but the theme that I really liked was the loss of innocence. And so, like I said, these are kids on an island all by themselves, no adults, no guidance and direction. So I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to say like any names or anything, but basically like they end up like killing like multiple kids, like purposely. Well, it's like accidentally, but like it's still like you killed a kid. The second time they like really like tried to kill this dude, and they like it was. I remember reading the book. I was like, what? Like what? These are kids, bro. Like no, but like honestly, bro, like I couldn't. Like if I was in like that age, like 4th grade, 5th grade, and we were all alone on a desert island, like I don't know what would happen, so I can't judge them. But as a kid, like killing another kid, killing another person, bro, that is wild. That is wild, bro. And then so at the end of the book, this is gonna be a spoiler. I'm not gonna spoil it, but basically at the end of the book, like everything turns out to be okay. But they literally like had to live with the memories of like, bro, like we killed somebody. We killed multiple people. We tried to kill multiple people because they tried to kill some other people, but they weren't able to be successful. Like we tortured people. Like we were killing animals and doing all of these crazy, and it like at the end of the book, like all the kids, like they end up crying because like it's like, bro, you're not a kid no more, bro. Like you can never unsee the stuff that you've done. You can never undo the things that you've done. And that's definitely something that I'm kind of going through right now as I'm, rising through adulthood. And just thinking about like, how I used to be, and like now how you know, the things that I've seen and seeing certain people, like I can't unsee those things. I can't undo those things. I've done like a lot of bad stuff in my life, bro. Like a lot of bad stuff. Like probably more than the average person. Like if I told you some of the stuff I did, bro, you would probably, bro, I would probably, I don't know what they would do to me. But, you know, loss of innocence is something that is very, that's tough, man. Because you can never get that back. It's the difference between kids and adults. We're all like the same, basically. It's just adults have lost their innocence through abuse, traumatic experiences, through doing bad things, things like we talked about earlier, envy, jealousy, fear, malice. But yeah, definitely that was probably the most important theme of the book, like a loss of innocence, and also like how, no, I'm not gonna say the most important. Also, I briefly wanted to touch on, just to end out, the fourth theme or themes is the concept of persevering and having faith. And that was, like I said, like it was greatly portrayed in the character of Ralph. He was very you know, just the fact that he had that plan on, like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna start a signal fire. We're gonna keep it going all day. We're gonna turn it off at night, so you know we have time to rest, and they're not gonna be able to see it anyway. But just he always had faith that they would be saved, that they would be rescued, that they would get off the island. He always had faith. And in terms of persevering, like he always, even when, you know, his friends started to turn on him, people started to go to Jack's tribe instead of his. He was lonely, and you know, even though he was a great person, like he still, you know, he easily could have given up. And you know, I'll say that it's not really a spoiler, but like Ralph was like one of the people who they were trying to kill. But like Jack's tribe, like they tried to kill Ralph, but they didn't do it. But even through all that, bro, his whole friends turning on him, bro, he's doing nothing but trying to help people. He's doing nothing but trying to get them back home, to keep them together. And everybody's just turning on him, and that's just, you know, I feel like it's definitely a plight of, you know, our faith. If you believe in the Bible, the world says, I mean, God, Jesus says, Yeshua, Joshua says that the world hated me, it'll hate you too. Jesus was literally the best person ever. The nicest, most kind, compassionate, caring person ever. And they killed this man. So what are they going to do to us? You know, you people who are nice and you really try to help people and you genuinely have empathy and real love for people, like, and people hate you, people backstab you, people turn on you and they spread lies and they do shiesty stuff to you. Like it's crazy, but it is, you know, you got to keep persevering, man. And like I said, I kind of saw myself in Ralph, and I see a lot of people like who, you know, there are a lot of like YouTubers and content creators I follow, and I think that their content is great, it's helpful, but then I see these crazy negative comments and like all types of stuff, bro. It's just, it's astounding. And it's very clear to me the older I get how, you know, possessed certain people are with negative spirits and demons. But yeah, I think that's about it. Like I said, I'm trying not to spoil the book too long. I had done like a rough draft of this video, like literally right before I did this. And I was basically like giving a summary of the book. I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, you can go to Spark Notes if you want to do that, or you can like look up another video. That's not what this video is supposed to be about. I just wanted to let you guys know like some of the themes that I saw and how they made me feel and how I think that they can, you know, apply to real life. So hopefully you can avoid the same mistakes that, you know, the kids in this book made. But once again, it was Lord of the Flies. I've been on like a little bender. It's been like a bender for the past year where I've been trying to like read all the books that like part of like the high school lexicon, you know, like Lord of the Flies, Great Gatsby, Animal Farm, 1984, like, you know, all those books we were supposed to read, but, you know, most of us didn't read them. And now that I'm reading them, I'm older, I could appreciate them a lot more. Bro, I think like people be reading this, kids be reading this in like 8th grade, like 9th grade. Like, you're not gonna understand this in 8th or 9th grade unless they like force you to. And that's another thing I don't like about forcing you to read books in school, because books are literature in general is very subjective. It's based on the viewer. Yes, the author, the writer has a point, but the viewer is able to see what, you know, he sees in it. I guess that was a bad sentence, but so when they would give us like those quizzes and tests and be like, oh, like, what does the yellow car represent? Why did they call it Lord of the Flies? Like, what was the lesson of this book? And then like you have like right and wrong answers. Like, no, how dare you? How dare you tell me like what I saw? No, I don't like that. It forces kids to think with a very limited, you know, viewpoint. It forces them to think how they want you to think, and that's not how it should be. You should read a book. We could all read, you know, I'm with 5 people, we could all read one book and we'll all have 5 completely different interpretations of it, see completely different themes and things in it, and that's how it should be. It shouldn't be, oh, well, this is what this represented, this is what this symbolized, this was the point of the book, and we all have like the same understanding. No, that is not what literature is for. Literature is fluid, it's creative, it's a flow. It's not linear. It's not math. That's why I don't like math. Anyway, I'm rambling now. Appreciate you guys for listening. Bye, Chance.